Hey guys, thanks for clicking this video, first of all. Second of all, this video is going to be a little different from my other ones. This is my review of Bloodlines and what to expect for Bloodlines 2. Bloodlines is a very interesting game and it's set in a very interesting setting. The setting, I would feel bad if I didn't tell you more about it. The World of Darkness is a setting that was made by Mark Rainhagen at White Wolf Publishing, primarily featuring tabletop RPGs. It's a world which contains many supernatural beings, but the most used and most important, in my opinion, is the vampire. In this world, vampires live alongside humans in secret while accumulating power and feeding when necessary. The vampires in this setting come from different clans and sects. Every clan has its own strength, weakness, and background. One of the main reasons I'm so enthralled by the Bloodline games is just because of how content-rich it is, without shoving it down your mouth like other games. You could go a whole playthrough without knowing some of the things that you can learn if you look far enough. Okay, so this is the ordinance for Bloodlines. So it's around 2004. It's not a confirmed time, but that's around the time. And you're partying in a club, and the vampire walks up to you for some reason. He picks you in a crowd. They walk up to you and they seduce you, bring you back to your apartment, and then they embrace you, which is a very long process of the vampire draining your blood and then giving you some of their blood. And this turns you into a vampire, and that vampire is your sire. Your sire has complete and utter control over you. There's no ands, if, or buts about it. That's just how it is in this world. Don't know why, but they have complete control over you. They're supposed to teach you the way of the vampire, so then you can better help them, and you can help their clan expand. They would be teaching you things like your vitae, how your humanity reacts with vampirism, how to uphold the masquerade. They would teach you about the ever-going war that the Enochs and the Camarilla are in, and how they're fighting over how the vampire society should be ran. See, the Anarchs don't like old vampires, and the Camarilla are essentially just a lot of old vampires. In the faction war that's going on, there's the two sides that are against each other, but then there's also one side that's against everyone, and honestly I think it's quite funny that all odds are against them, but you can still make them win. They're called the Sabbat. So basically the Sabbat shtick is, they just don't like humanity. They want everyone dead, and they think everyone opposed to them should die. They're essentially the bad guys of the game. Everyone hates them, they hate humanity, they hate everyone. The Camarilla are a clan of elders, in other words, very old vampires, and they're faced with a tough decision. One of their vampires has knowingly decided to turn a human without asking. Usually, any vampire who does this will be executed. Without a doubt, they'll face final death. But this time, the execution will decide the entire outcome of the rest of their lives. Let's see what they do. And they continued with the execution. Well, obviously, now we need to get revenge.
Which leads to the fate of the ill-begotten progeny.
Well, now what? Well, if you're like me, you download the unofficial patch and go on a long trek of revenge to finally avenge your sire after hours of gameplay, and then finish the game with the bad guys, thus releasing your vengeance upon the world in form of a really old vampire, which is prophesized to bring upon the end of the world. This game has a lot of unique mechanics. Every clan gets a handful of abilities, some of them being unique, and they each are surprisingly good. It took me forever to realize that I had a very overpowered vampire ability called Sorority, just because I never leveled it up, ever. I never put a single level in it. And then one time on a whim, I put a couple levels into it and saw it was just fucking busted. I could go past bullets that were coming towards me, I could outrun everybody, but the only downside was you can't do most of that stuff in public. It's very obvious if you're just a random dude running at like Mach 10 down the road that you're a vampire or a supernatural being. So you can only do it in like private places or like if you're being attacked, but other than the unique abilities, it's a pretty mediocre game, especially when you compare it to modern games. I had trouble with the doors. You have to wait for the doors completely to open or they'll just close. It was really annoying. Sometimes I got stuck in weird places I couldn't get out and I'd have to like redo an area. Sometimes characters, like NPCs, got stuck in weird places, like up on a car or on top of a building. That was weird. Sometimes the game was really, really hard, and I had to look up a guide. And there's not much whenever it comes to guides from 2004 for this game. But overall, if you take into account that this game is really old, it's from 2004, it's an alright game as far as the gameplay is concerned. Overall, I think this is a great game. I can say in all honesty that if you're able to look past the graphics, you'll have fun with not only the enriching plot, but also the unique mechanics that this game brings. With its expansive lore and its eccentric mechanics, and the fact that the second game is coming out this year, I think it's totally worth a try. Little is known about the plot of Bloodlines 2. What we do know is that it will happen in Seattle again, and it'll be Christmas this time, so expect snow. This time we'll be an elder instead of a fledgling. This means we're probably going to be more powerful, have more unique abilities, but while that's already exciting, I'd also like to point out that it's being developed by a company that has employed some well-known programmers from AAA game backgrounds. In conclusion, I am really excited for Bloodlines 2, and I honestly can't wait regardless of the setbacks they've had over the years for this game. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. I put a lot of work into this. This is a different format of video. I liked it though, so expect more maybe if I find another game.